Welcome to TelecomTV. DZS is a leader in broadband connectivity, mobile and optical edge and cloud software, whose mission is to help service providers deliver the best in subscriber experience. I am pleased today to talk to Charlie Vogt, his president and CEO. Charlie, thanks for joining us today.
Well, Charlotte, thanks for having me.
Now, Charlie, you joined DZS in August 2020. That's less than 18 months ago, and at a very complicated time for the world due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So can you talk us through some of your key successes so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very transformational 18 months, as you pointed out. I mean, if you look at just all the people, product, and systems integration that was undertaken over the last 12 to 15 months, and then you look at the performance that the company had delivered in 2021, it was pretty phenomenal. I mean, we delivered record orders, $504 million in new orders, $350 million in revenue. Our orders was up 62% year over year. Revenue was up 16% year over year. We ended the year with $225 million in backlog, which was up 217% year over year. Q4 of last year delivered the single best top line orders and revenue performance in the company's history. We delivered $135 million in orders and $98 million in revenue. So, despite all of the internal integration efforts that were underway in just rationalizing the business, the company had a phenomenal year from a performance standpoint.
That's very impressive. So where are you seeing the biggest areas of growth for DZS and generally the whole industry?
Well, we're entering what I would refer to as a dual supercycle. I mean, if you look at fiber to the home and fiber to the business, we're entering this 10 gigabit upgrade cycle that we believe that will quickly follow a 50 gigabit upgrade cycle. So I think that it's an interesting time. I don't know in all the 30 years I've been in this industry that we've seen so much opportunity, but on the direct fiber to the home, there's going to be a very significant investment that's going to happen over the next decade. You look at what's going on the mobile network. I mean, certainly there's a significant push right now with 5G, but right behind 5G is going to be an upgrade cycle to 6G. I sit on a couple of innovation boards and NextG Alliance, which is really focused on 6G. And then you just look at, the proliferation of service providers, which are migrating from traditional telco and mobile operators to experience providers, as more and more emphasis gets placed on, the experience of the consumer and what's going on in building, there's a very, very significant opportunity there. I think it's also important to point out, if you look at, the Chinese cap and grow opportunity, we see a significant opportunity in Canada, Europe, India, a lot of markets across Pan-Asia. We've seen more RFP activity to cap and ultimately replace some of the Chinese suppliers than we've ever seen. If you look at the European countries, I think, Europe is the furthest behind in fiber to the home. On average, most of the major mature countries, including, UK, Italy, France, Germany, have somewhere between 5 to 10% fiber to the home. And I think over the next, let's call it 5 to 7 years, we see that growing to as much as 60 to 75%. So there's a significant opportunity for companies like DZS. And you look at the $100 billion in federally funded stimulus that's being promoted around the world, and we think that continues to grow. It's just an exciting time to be in broadband access.
So what's next for the company, Charlie? What would you say are the next most important milestones for the company?
Yeah, so we put a big emphasis on software, and as I mentioned just a minute ago, I think that as traditional operators migrate from delivering pure connectivity to migrating to becoming an experience provider, software-defined everything is going to be at the heart of where we see, the next real big shift in the market. So we launched something that we call DZS Cloud, and inside of DZS Cloud are two pillars. The first pillar is Dcs Express, which is a market-leading orchestration platform. It has very sophisticated automation tools as well as service assurance capabilities. And so we see that being a huge differentiator for the company. We also see it as an opportunity for us to help service providers accelerate the integration of new technologies into the network, specifically around OSS and BSS systems. And then we have a software portfolio that we call DZS Experience, which is really designed to enhance the in-home experience, both from a Wi-Fi perspective as well as from a data analytics perspective. So we think that, coupled with a new offering that we're launching in the second half of this year called SD-NOS, which stands for Software Defined Network Operating System. And it's really the unique opportunity for us to unify all of our portfolios in the core, portfolios that are sitting at the home or business, to be unified and aligned. And then finally, we think that there's a unique opportunity for us to create a broader open standards ecosystem amongst the various service equipment suppliers around the world.
Can you tell us a bit more about how DZS is integrating key technologies like cloud software, 10G-PON, and Open RAN?
Yeah, I mean, as I pointed out just a minute ago, we think DCS Express, which is our next generation orchestration and automation and service assurance platform, is really at the heart of allowing us to accelerate the pace of integrating our technologies into networks, as well as third-party products and technologies into the network. And then SD-NOS is going to be a key differentiator. And the two of those really ultimately get us to a place where we can give service providers a lot more optionality as it relates to how do they completely cloud enable and how do they completely virtualize and containerize all of their packets in the core, and how they're delivering those packets to consumers in homes and at the office.
And more generally, Charlie, what would you say are the main catalysts behind the acceleration of the global deployment of fiber broadband networks? What's driving it?
Yeah, I mean, look, something very unique happened in March of 2020 when the pandemic hit, and I think that overnight, you had billions of people that were on a video conferencing call, and it really exposed where the network was at the time. And you couple that with just the mega trends that have certainly been in the background from an innovation perspective, virtual reality and augmented reality in this world that's being defined by the new metaverse. There's billions of devices that are being connected around the world. You've got smart devices, and you've got futuristic elements, in the internet, from autonomous vehicles to everything else that's being connected, is just putting a lot of pressure on service providers to deliver the highest quality, low latency broadband services, both on the fixed side as well as on the mobile side. So I think that the trends, coupled with the fact that we're living in a world where everyone is connected, I certainly think that if there's a silver lining in what the pandemic did for technology, is it certainly pulled forward and advanced a lot of innovation that has been in the background for a number of years, and we're using it today. I mean, while I think to a certain degree some people would want to be back in person, I think that high definition video and low latency video gaming for all ages in the home is something that is become an everyday occurrence and performing extremely well due to high-speed broadband access.
Well, Charlie, thank you very much. I hope the next year and a half proves to be equally as productive.
Well, thanks, Charlotte. I appreciate the opportunity, and good luck to TelecomTV this year.
Thank you very much. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more interviews with sector leaders on TelecomTV.